It's an NFT, and it's unique for every single bottle of wine, right? And so we built a digital cork for this bottle. And what I'm going to do is mint everyone who wants one a tasting token. The tasting token is what happens. It's a token that's created when the digital cork is destroyed. So when you pull the cork, lucky you, right? You actually get to drink the bottle. You digitally uncork it as well. And it's a really easy thing. You literally, depending on the hardware that's attached on the bottle, you tap the bottle, it pops up and says, are you sure you want to uncork this? And you say yes. And what happens next is that NFT is burned, it's destroyed, because that wine is no longer saleable, right? It was previously a transferable asset. And then what happens is it kind of turns into like a POAP. So it turns into a tasting token, a proof of experience that you tasted that wine. So with that tasting token, a lot of really great things happen. That's where the winemaker gets his consumption data. So VIN coin, what we touched on a couple times, will be embedded in every bottle of wine. So the winemaker will decide how much the data is worth to them, right? So they'll embed a certain amount of crypto into the bottle. It will travel through the supply chain. When you open the bottle, you release, by digitally uncorking it, you release a little bit of cryptocurrency, right? Thanks for the data. The data goes back to the winemaker, so he's essentially bought that consumption data from you with Bitcoin. Now, users or wine drinkers, wine lovers who are opening that bottle and claiming that Bitcoin, like Air Miles, can then use that to buy more wine, buy experiences, right? Very, very similar to the loyalty Air Miles.
Go to the Bentley.
Go to the Bentley, yeah. Go to the Bentley tent, yeah.
Also, if you think about this, and Dave and I have been fleshing out some ideas on this just in a free-range conversation, is let's say you open a bunch of first growths. You now have an on-chain proof of showing off. Prestige.
Flex.
Right. Scarcity, attention plus scarcity is where all the value comes. So you can say, as you know, people put it on Instagram and say, hey, I've been drinking this. You have no idea if they do. Now you do. And so it gives you status, but not short social status. It also gives you vineyard status. So the vineyard now knows, oh shit, this guy's serious. He drinks this stuff, buys this stuff, stores this stuff, which they didn't know. And then they're like, oh, please come again. Right now, if you're to go to Screaming Eagle or any vineyard that has a limited release, you have to get on an email list. It's 15 years. You have to kind of kiss the floor or do everything else. But this way, they can be better at allocating who they give those bottles to. So suddenly it becomes a much more efficient market. And I just think it's I've gone through this whole journey with these guys. It's just a really, really interesting way where I drink a bottle, I get status, I get proof. I get to understand, we don't take tasting notes, but we take sometimes tasting notes or mental tasting notes of our wine. Here we can prove what we've drunk. The winemaker, they solve their problem. They know who's drinking it, when they're drinking it, how long it is, how long they need to store it for. Like Tondonia, make a decision that we're not going to release our wine for 40 years sometimes. Is that the right thing for them to do or not? They don't know. Constantia Utsi, which is an old vineyard like Tondonia, decide not to. Is that the right thing for them to do or not? They don't know. And then you've got huge conglomerates like LVMH in the middle, who are also trying to figure this out, but they also sell handbags and fashion and all the other stuff, and Hennessy. And then you've got the middlemen and the friction of moving product around the world and payment systems, payments rails, the cost. So for me, what I love about this is, obviously I love wine, but I love the fact that this is a game of ultimate friction at every single point. It is a miserable, shitty business where everybody's taking your money. And I know winemakers, we all know winemakers, not the high-end ones, but the average guy making good quality wine, grinding it out, like a musician that loses 80% of their economics to somebody else. Yeah. And this changes that. It changes it because you put the consumer, the grower together, but not only that, the logistics of moving this stuff around will change.
Yeah.